When there's historic regime change around the world, one of the ways you know it's happening is because the state-owned television runs on a loop things like, Swan Lake for 2 days straight, or classical music, a certain song gets played until the regime change is over, usually through a military coup. Well, we have a version of that going on now as federal workers fight back against the Trump administration. And we have a reporting that when workers return to their jobs having been remote and Donald Trump ordered them back, federal workers for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, they were greeted to monitors, many monitors up on the ceiling, playing a loop of an AI generated video clip showing Donald Trump sucking the toes of Elon Musk under the caption, "Long live the real king." Over and over and over again. That was the shot across the bow. That was the flag of encouragement being flown by federal workers against the Trump administration and Elon Musk. And I'm Michael Popok, and I'm here for it. I'm here for any aspect of the failing Trump administration and the symptoms of it and the resistance here on MeidasTouch and Legal AF. So, could have been a jokey hot take, like, hey, look at this picture of the video of the toe sucking. How'd they do that? But that's not, I could have done that, but that's not my point here. My point here is that Donald Trump is starting to realize, if he didn't already, you'd think he was never president before, that there is this thing called the U.S. government is very difficult to run by yourself. You need the couple of million federal workers, many of them unionized, to do this job, many of them highly trained and skilled with top secret security clearances that Elon Musk could never get without Donald Trump, or Donald Trump could never get without Donald Trump. And these people are fighting from within the they're part of the resistance against Donald Trump. You can't fire them all, and they know it. The federal workers know that they can't just march them out and summarily execute them and replace them with 2 million MAGA tomorrow that know how to fly the plane, know how to do the taxes or tax returns or refunds, Social Security checks. You can't fire everybody. It's like a bank robbery when you see there's, 40 people in the bank. People still go to banks, right? And there's 3 gunmen. Well, I can't get them all. So you're going to have to do something about it to do a breakout. That's what's happening now. The numbers are in favor of the federal workers, and they're taking their cue, whether intentional or not, from heads of cabinet, agency heads and cabinet heads who are rebelling against Elon Musk being the co-president and firing their employees. That's why this is all broken out over one email that Elon Musk sent out as a coward under his hr@opm.com email address. Nothing says I'm a coward like sending something from an anonymous HR account, telling people to justify their existence and list the 5 things they did in their job last week or they'll be fired. Well, some people might be thinking, can you do that under the law, Popok? No. And so there's a lawsuit that was already pending, that's already been amended now, which says to a federal judge in San Francisco, the right place for this kind of case, hey, judge, here's another example of illegal attempts of power abuse by the Trump administration through Elon Musk, which violates many things, including the Administrative Procedures Act, the Due Process Clause of the Fifth Amendment, the separation of powers, the other aspects of the relationship between the Congress and the president, those types of things. And now you've got federal workers like, F it. Supposedly, one group did sort of jokey anonymous responses back to Elon Musk for his email. And they figured out a way to do it so they wouldn't get caught. But this group, I love the brazenness of it, the shot across the bow. You come into your office and you're the downtrodden, marching back to your office in an administration you don't want to be a part of, but you don't want to give up your job either. It's your career, and you've been doing civil service and the work for the American people for a long period of time. And you see up there sort of a hang in there. We're in this together. It reminds me of the original Top Gun movie when, was it Top Gun? No, sorry. It was Officer and a Gentleman. I'll go back further. When Richard Gere has to stay the weekend to try to stay in the Corps, and he's got to do all the workouts by himself, and his buddies rent a boat and run past him and yell and scream and drop their pants and, yay, hang in there, you'll do it. And, that's my pop culture reference for today. Same thing. If I'm a beleaguered, downtrodden federal worker under Donald Trump and I see that, it perks me up. And of course, the Trump administration is like, we're going to get to the bottom of who created. I feel like I'm in 5th grade. Who did this? Who put Sally's, pigtails in glue? Like, I don't know, the people that don't want to be part of your administration, but don't want to quit either on the American people, and I applaud them. There's many different ways to topple corrupt, hollowed out, valueless administration, like the one we're watching here. One of them is the ways that we talk about it on a regular basis, which is the lawsuits that have been filed, the 5-a-week injunctions and temporary restraining orders issued against this administration, already losing once in the United States Supreme Court, the 3-a-day complaints, lawsuits, federal, filed against this administration. That is one major way. But the resistance takes many forms. You've got the internal resistance of go F yourself, which is what the federal employees that have stayed are starting to do, trying to find ways to undermine the Trump administration from within, knowing that they can't all be fired and replaced. And then you have our community, which is important. And this type of independent commentary and analysis that is like no other. We just watched the bloodbath, and I know some of those people. I'm friends with Katie Fang. I just watched the bloodbath over at MSNBC as they did the unthinkable. They fired like every non-white male, except for I think one. They fired them all. The black reporter, the Asian reporter, all American, of course, the 2 black reporters, Katie Fang, they're all gone on MSNBC. They're all going to have to figure out where to go. I invite them here. I might have touched on Legal AF. But to watch that, heads rolling and bloodletting over at MSNBC as they're gearing up against the Trump administration to follow our lead on MeidasTouch, to be in vigorous opposition, in searing criticism. But in order to do that, you've got to have what we got on the other side of this camera, this microphone, you and your devotion, your commitment, your enthusiasm for being in opposition. I said in the first week after the election, I said, and I stand by this. This is about, we have to move forward. We can't look back. We have to, this isn't, we're in opposition. Yeah, we're not a shadow government. We have to oppose this government and then topple it at the time of the midterms. This loop of the real king and the sucking toes thing, that's just a symptom. That's just a flag of freedom being flown by federal workers. There will be more of them. We'll continue to report on them right here together, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm. MeidasTouch Network, and of course our companion YouTube channel, Legal AF MTN. Come over there, help us reach our 500,000 in the first 6-month goal. We're about 2 weeks away from it. You can help us turn the odometer to 500,000 today. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.